right. Well, welcome to Spotlight Podcast. My name is Lynette Hines, and I have Crystal Kokal with us today. Why don't you tell us what you do and how you serve customers?
Well, thank you for having me. Um, so I have a business called Sassyfras, and I make custom decorated sugar cookies, and I teach decorating classes to people that want to learn how to make their own cookies. So I got started in this about 2.5 years ago. I had been working retail and just decided I wanted my own flexibility. I didn't want anyone telling me I had to work Saturdays and Sundays if I didn't want to. And so stepped away from that and was just kind of looking for something to do. And that was right around the holidays. And I had started trying to make sugar cookies with my kids. And they weren't awesome. They were not even close to awesome. And so it was one of those things. I'm kind of a driven person, and if something doesn't turn out, I'm gonna try to figure out how to make that turn out. So with a lot of effort, I learned how to make those beautiful decorated royal icing sugar cookies, and just kind of going from there.
Wow. Okay. Well, we met on the Eden Prairie Chamber, and how did you learn about the chamber, or what drove you to join the Eden Prairie Chamber, and what was your goal with that?
So I have a very good friend who makes pie, and her name is Karina with Pie Way to Habit, and can't say enough. Best pie ever. So anyway, so she has mentioned that she had gone and she's like, Crystal, this would be a really good opportunity for you too. So we both went to purse bingo. She brought me to purse bingo in February where I won a purse. So excited about that. But then just kind of seeing the community, kind of seeing the women there. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll do a meeting with you. Let's check it out. So I did that. And it was one of the breakfasts in the morning, and it was just amazing how many people were there, how supportive everyone seemed, all the different stories, all the different connections, and I'm like, um, having older children, so I have a 23, 25-year-old, and I used to be very, very involved in the schools, in every PTO. I used to run a nonprofit volunteer organization, and all of a sudden, all of their like, not having the kids in the school bowl, I lost a lot of those parents and friends that were kind of built in. And, I decided, you know what? If I can get an advantage for my business, great. But if nothing else, I can find some really good friends. And so, best friends I've ever bought. So, this kind of literally was my reason for joining, was to just have that built-in network and literally find like-minded people. And with that has come, quite a bit of business. So, it's added.
Incredible. Yeah, I love the community within the chamber, and just being around those like-minded people is definitely a great plus. And then, of course, growing your business within there. So just to back it up a little bit, how did you go from not great cookies with your kids to scaling to be able to teach these incredible classes I've heard such great things about, and I've seen your cookies, and they look so beautiful. I don't want to ever eat them. So how did you get from that to incredible flawless cookies?
So, again, as I said, Christmas, not good, that one year. Tried again the next year, still not good. So I had learned quickly that I'm going to need a little help with this here. So I took an online class and just kept practicing and was like, okay, I brought them to one of the groups I'm in. And they're like, oh my God, can you order per Easter? And I'm like, are you sure? Right. Like, because in my eyes, I'd always grown up being a crafter, being a baker, and you put a lot of expectations on yourself, always have. And so for what I thought was like, kind of questionable, everyone else thought was beautiful.
We're always a lot harder on ourselves than we should be.
We really are. Oh, hearing people wanted to actually find I cooked these and that they tasted amazing. That was, I think, one of the main things going, okay, I've got something here. So opened up my business, Sassyfras, which I had previously had, where I'd made recycled or made mittens out of recyclable sweaters. And I did that for 10 years. And then when I went back to work, I closed, to like a 9 to 5 job. I closed down that business. So when I was ready to open up this new business, for me, it was just a no brainer. I'm just reopening Sassyfras, still available, reopened it, rebranded it. And then focus solely on the sugar cookies now.
Wow, well, I have to say Sassyfras is the best name. I love it so much. I don't know you personally very well, but I feel like it fits you. I love the name and the style. And why don't you tell me a little bit about the designs on your cookies? Because we'll have to get a picture up so our viewers can see it, but of some of them. But yeah, how do you do that? Because I can't even make two of the same chocolate chip cookies. So I am not a baker by any means.
Well, it comes down to like with anything, it comes down to the equipment you're using. So to get the perfectly consistent thickness of a cookie, we have rolling kits that have guides on them so that when you're rolling them, they're absolutely the exact same thickness. So you're not trying to guess how thick your cookie is. So you start with that. Um, and then I like to, when I'm working with my customers, for my customs, I like to really talk to them. It's kind of something maybe I do a little differently than others. I get inspiration photos. I try, if it's for a celebration, I try to get their invitation. And then from looking at that invitation, because for instance, I had one gal say, I want to do a 80th birthday party for my mom. We're going to do just like takeaway cookies. Her colors are purple and coral. And I'm like, "Great, okay." So, that was what I had to go on, and so I'm thinking in my mind, okay, like, maybe keep, like, floral, like, a little daisy flowers, like, happy birthday plaque, like, some simple designs, and then she sent me the, invitation, and it was the most elaborate invitation I'd ever seen to her. I'm like, "Nope, these are not what we're gonna be making," and then we came up with, embossed cookies, and they're all painted with the gold highlights on them, and every cookie just kinda elevated to match that invitation. So I think, um, I like to get those invitations so that I can really get the feel of the party. The other fun thing I do with them is if the invitation, like, for instance, I did one that was a safari, and the little safari animals on the invitation were so cute that I sketched those out, and then I put them into software. I created designs as cookie cutters, and then I 3D print them so that I can match that invitation with whatever it is, right? Like, so one might be the little safari animals. I've done wilderness animals. I've done like a friend of mine had a hot air balloon baby one and we copied the exact hot air balloon off of it, matched the colors, put the little gold highlights that matched the invitation. So it kind of elevates it a little higher than just I want safari cookies.
Yeah, yeah, I love that it matches the invitation, so the whole aesthetic of the event is streamlined. Yeah, it's really cool. So you kinda touched on something that makes you a little bit different than other bakers or other, similar businesses. What, can you touch a little bit more on what differentiates you from the traditional, cookie or even just going to the grocery store and picking up some cookies?
Well, our cookies are, I mean, I think the flavor on them is just phenomenal. So, hopefully everyone else agrees with that. I offer 9 different flavors. I, wouldn't buy that cookie at the store, at the Target or even at some of the coffee shops. They've been packaged for quite a while, tell you that. And a lot of times when you see those pretty cookies and you bite into them, they're like rock hard and you're like breaking your tooth on them and you're like, okay, they look pretty, but they don't taste pretty or they don't taste good.
Yes.
And mine have that soft cookie. And when you bite it, it has the harder icing on it. As soon as you bite into that icing, it's soft in the middle. And so you don't have that rock hard. Even with our florals, none of it is that rock hard break a tooth type of icing with really good flavor. So doing that, I think the freshness is one of the key things, and the quality.
Yeah, you did bullet. Yeah, that is incredible. It's not always about, price and just what it looks like, because there's nothing worse than biting into a cookie and you're like, "Oh, that's a little awkward, not tasting so great." Okay, awesome. And, what is something that, you wish people understood a little bit more when it comes to ordering, receiving, anything that, would help a customer that is gonna come and place an order? How can we make it easier for you?
So I think one of the biggest obstacles any decorator has is that the customer truly does not understand the amount of time it goes into making their perfect set of cookies. And so when we come in with our prices, and we're quoting, whatever it is per dozen, people sometimes will be like, "Oh, wow." Right? Like, "I can't afford that." And you're like, "Well, when I priced this all out, it just took me 14 hours to do your 3 dozen praise." So, it's the sheer amount of time. I think, um, kind of that's doing the cookie classes. A lot of my participants there have been like, "Okay, now I understand," because it takes us 2 hours to decorate 6 cookies. And they're like, "I get it now. I get it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you know what? Let's touch on those classes a little bit. Why don't you tell me how did you get the idea to do the classes, and what has that been for you and your business? And yeah.
So I started doing classes a year ago in May, and I mean, a lot of the cookie communities. There's several people that have taught them, but there aren't a lot in the Southwest Metro. So I'm like, okay, here's an opportunity, and I know how hard it was for me to try to figure this out. And I'm also someone that loves to teach and loves to give back. So I'm like, well, what better way to do that than offer classes, whether they just come to socialize. Like I've got girls that come, and girlfriend night out, or I've got date nights. I've got 3 generations have come. But then I also have a couple that are like, okay, I want to maybe not sell them, but I want to make these for my family more consistently. And so this gives them the chance to really understand how the royal icing works, what you're looking for, learning how to decorate, how to get those divided lines, how to get it when it's smooth and it's all running together. How do we do that? And then one of the things that sets me apart is at the end. So the next day, I send everyone that is participated, they get a recap. In that recap, it's going to have not my cookie recipe, but a very good cookie recipe. It's going to have my royal icing recipe. It's going to have here's how you get the consistencies, here how you troubleshoot it, and it's going to have a whole list with clippable links on here are the products I use to make so that if they want to do this, they can be successful. And then I'm always open for emails.
That's incredible. That's really giving people the tools to recreate, which, yeah, is worth a whole lot more than those classes. I can tell you that. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And what would you say, is, maybe a hurdle or something that you've experienced that's been a little challenging on your journey, the last few years?
I would say the biggest hurdle I had, which I kind of gotten over it now, was trying to get customers because you can only cook or bake for your friends so many times, and they can only order so much. There's only so much money to spend on cookies, and so that was a huge hurdle originally. The other hurdle would be how do you get these cookie classes in front of people? Because, my social media following is not huge. So I'm limited in who's going to see these. So how I've kind of overcome these, um, well, for sure with the cookie classes, is that I partner with breweries. And so whenever I'm doing all my events or doing all my posts, those breweries are tagged. So now it's reaching all of their customers. And then they advertise for me as well. Uh, and for the big thing in order for the custom people to come is having a Google page. So now, and having past customers have written reviews, so I trend higher, or do well. I'm going to come up first in your searches, which is so I went from like 100% being friends ordering to now I would say 95% was organic through Google search.
Wow. And that just goes to show how great you are doing. And I would say, what is a goal for Sassyfras? What do you see for the next 1 to 3 years? Where you want to be?
Well, we love doing classes. I do love making customs. They're just really time consuming. But one of my biggest new purchases and one of the most exciting is I just got an edible printer. So it's called an Eddie, the edible printer, and it prints directly onto the cookie. So I ice the cookie and then I put it on a tray. It goes into the printer and it prints just like an inkjet printer would. So that has opened up a lot of windows for corporate orders. And so we can kind of ramp up the amount we're giving out, producing at an affordable price to generate more business that's a little less time consuming on my part. So that's where I'm hoping to grow a little bit more on that end.
Well, that's really exciting. Well, I really appreciate your time here today. It was great learning about Sassyfras, and I want a cookie now.
Oh,
All right.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Me too.